Good morning to you. Mark Stott with HurricaneTrack.com here with your hurricane outlook and discussion for Saturday morning, the 5th day of August 2017. Let's take a look at what's happening out there in the tropics for today. A lowering of the probabilities here for Invest 90L over the next couple of days, and even the 5-day down to 50%. Just a little bit of a reduction, and the same holds true here for 99L, and we will go into detail as to why that is the case. And if we look at the black and white infrared, as I like to call it, you notice an increase in convection here with 90L for sure. And the issue is, in terms of the lower probability, does this track more over Central America mostly, and therefore not being able to take advantage of the warm water? Or will this be farther to the north, and this is just an example, and have more warm water to take advantage of? We're going to have to just wait and see. Certainly, we do have a marked increase in convection, and there's even a little bit of a turning to it overall, a curvature, and we can look at that in just a moment on a pretty awesome satellite shot from the GOES 16. We'll get to that in just a minute. Meanwhile, out here, I don't know what's going on with 99L. It looks more like a chorus line of clouds ready to sing for us, rather than an organized area of low pressure. Sort of have this monsoon troughiness and broad low pressure, thunderstorm clusters everywhere. That is not going to do it in terms of getting anything to consolidate into a tropical depression. And we're going to look at the vorticity signature of this in a moment, as well as 90L. And you'll see, even between the two, there's a pretty distinct difference. For you folks here in Jamaica, I've heard from our friend via the internet, Andre, who lives down there, works down there in video and music production, saying how darn hot it is. It's too bad we can't get this to creep just a little bit more to the north and at least bring you some cloud cover and some rainfall. But I don't think this will be impacting Jamaica much, passing probably to the south of there. Looking at the track models from the early morning run here, this is the 12Z guidance, or 12 UTC, same thing. And I'm going to update this again this afternoon, probably around 4 o'clock Eastern time, with another video, and we'll take a look at what the models show at that point. But the main thing I want to sort of point out here, that generally the model's suggesting a track mostly over Central America, and so let's see if that changes, because that obviously makes a difference. If it's even more to the south, you can forget it. But if it's more up here to the north and, towards Belize and the Yucatan, etc., then this will have a better chance of developing. So let's revisit this afternoon, and we can compare what's happened, just 6 hours later on the 18Z. So this is neat. This is from the GOES 16. I really appreciate this being pointed out to me, this particular site, from one of my Twitter followers. Thank you very much. You know who you are if you're watching this video. And so, yeah, I'll be taking advantage of this. The nice thing about the GOES 16 is it's better resolution. You get more frame rates, etc. So it's just an overall better experience for folks who like to watch the weather. And so there's a few things to point out here. You notice certainly an increase in the convective activity, and even sort of a broad turning in here can be seen. It doesn't take much imagination to pick that out. And what I want to try to do is capture that last image there, and you can notice pretty good areas of convection here, these large overshooting tops, like lumpy potatoes, mashed potatoes, and there's an outflow boundary over here, but we're not seeing them race out from all the thunderstorms. That's not happening. So not a lot of dry air entrainment, or dry air involved overall. And so let's see how this progresses over the next 6 hours as well. If we go back and look at the animation, again, you can see, broad turning associated with it overall. And again, this is something we can look at on the afternoon update as well. We'll also have more frames in the daylight hours. This is the visible satellite imagery, not infrared. And so it depends on the sunshine, of course, to illuminate everything. So the vorticity signature, this is a tropical depression, 11E in the Eastern Pacific. That's what the E stands for. And it's oval-shaped, but it's a depression, and that's what it should look like, the vorticity signature, or the spin in the atmosphere. This is 99L right here. And it looks like a peanut or something. It doesn't look round. It's linear, and it's elongated, and any other adjective that means straight line, feel free to throw in your description, all right? It's not consolidating yet, and so unless and until it does, it's not going to develop. So there you go. In the meantime, it looks like vorticity trying to consolidate right there. So again, this will be something we can revisit. This is the advantage of doing these updates twice a day, is that we can look at things 6 hours later and see how they evolve. So that's going to be interesting to see where the vorticity lies with our two systems, which one leads the pack. Will it be 99L finally getting together? I'm going to guess not. Maybe it'll be 90L, so we'll see. Looking at the upper level winds, that's really not much of an issue out here in the deep tropics. Green, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe the pattern just isn't ready yet. Remember, it's just August the 5th. It's not August 25th. And there is a reason why we have a ramping up of activity. And I'm going to show you a couple of graphics later on the afternoon update that illustrates exactly what that means, that it really does make a difference in a regular season like this. We had 2005, which was an anomaly. Everything was favorable pretty much the entire season. This is a little bit different, and that little bit makes a lot of difference in terms of the genesis of these systems. We have warm water, absolutely. We have no El Nino. We have strong tropical waves for the most part. The vertical instability is in better shape, so to speak. The favorability overall is much improved over recent years, but still climatology makes a big difference, and I'm going to point that out. So that you see, I'm not just rationalizing. There is a reason why it takes usually until later August and through September for things to get going. Meanwhile, here, back to the topic at hand, in the Caribbean, still some pretty strong winds over the system. But, looking at that satellite animation, it wasn't very sheared to me. You didn't see the tops of those lumpy potatoes getting blown off, so maybe conditions are improving faster than we think. We'll just have to revisit that. Again, we'll be able to do that. All right. Also going to revisit what's happening here in the Western Pacific. I did not want to ignore this. It's Typhoon Noru, and it's going to be hitting a heavily populated area for the most part. I mean, Japan as a whole, right? Pretty big country in terms of population and importance, and specifically here the island of Kyushu, and it's going to be moving in here over the next, within the next 24 hours. It's dark there now as I'm recording this video. Note, too, that the wind is about 80 knots or so. Now remember, the GFS a few days ago was forecasting this to go down into the 870s, millibar-wise. It's like, come on. I don't know what's going on with that model. It was supposed to be upgraded on July 19th. It became operational. And it's having some serious issues with the overproduction of tropical cyclones. And it's not just the Atlantic. So, way off for sure. The wind at 80 knots, it doesn't show us what the pressure is here in this, I don't think. But that's not an 872 millibar typhoon with 80 knots of wind, that's for darn sure. So, anyway, it's going to be making landfall in the next little while over Kyushu, and we can look at a satellite picture of it. It's not the classic typhoon that you might have been used to seeing, and that's typical for this far north. This is 30 degrees north latitude right here, and just to give you an idea of where that is on the map, if you were moved over to the western hemisphere, that would be roughly Jacksonville, Florida. And so an 80-knot hurricane near Jacksonville, Florida, okay, that makes sense. If this was farther to the south, maybe heading towards Taiwan from the east, as we have seen typhoons do from time to time, it would probably be a lot stronger. That being said, it does have a decent central dense overcast right there, or the core area trying to fill in, and it's going to be kind of coming right up into here over the next several hours. And Josh Morgerman from iCyclone is there, And this is a look. He's probably getting a nap right now. This is 4 hours ago. And this is a look from where he is. You can see the winds impacting the waves there, jacking the waves up a little bit. And if we scroll down a little bit more, you can see, come on, let me have it. Nightfall as the typhoon gets closer. This is one of the last visible images, and that's his location right there. And he'll have some nice pressure readings. He'll show that from time to time. In fact, I think he has a picture of that in one of his updates here at some point. I thought he did. Maybe, yep, there it is, using a Kestrel, and it's calibrated. So he's about 86 feet above the ocean, and he knows how to calibrate that. And so it's neat. You know, he does not bring wind instruments and the remote cams like I do. I mean, how in the world is he going to airline all of that over there? I mean, I know he works with the Weather Channel, and, you know, you cannot possibly airline the amount of equipment across the Pacific that would be needed to do what we do over here in the United States. So it's nice that he at least will take the effort to get some pressure readings, and we appreciate that. And some of that has been used in helping to verify, especially in remote areas of the world, what the pressures were in certain cyclones. So it's nice that he adds that scientific touch to it. We'll check back in with his Twitter feed later in the day as well. All right, well, that's it for me for this morning. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I'll put another video out, and it'll be online by 4 o'clock this afternoon. Until then, have a great rest of your Saturday morning, and then when it gets to afternoon, that as well. I am Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll have more for you later in the day.